It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're drive-in theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Oh, hey. What's up? We're back. Hey, everybody. Hey, Vince. Hey, Johnny Dalton, everybody tuning in. We are back. Sorry about the 1 week taking it off. I was out of town. I was in the Big Apple, Manhattan, doing Christmassy things, just like every Christmas movie you've ever seen, ever. It was a fun time. I got to take my folks up there, and I went and saw a show on Broadway.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram post.
Yeah, if you could follow us over on the Instagrams, driving Speakerbox over there, Instagrams. We got one. But yeah, I went and saw the Beetlejuice on Broadway, and I'll be talking about that later in the show. But I didn't get a chance to see any movies because I was just traveling a bunch and doing all that jazz.
You were a boy on Broadway.
I know.
No time for movies.
No time. I wanted to. It's just there was some cool. They have a pretty good indie film scene up there, and I didn't get a chance to see any movies. I wanted to, but it's just a busy week. And but the Grib, he went and saw a film this week. What did you go see, dude?
I saw old Jumanji.
Jumanji, the next one.
Jiminy Jim Jeroos.
Mm-hmm. Well, more of Kevin Hart and The Rock going, ah, ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Now with more, gratuitous cameos. So that is going to be talked about later in the show. And as Vince just said, good timing. I hear they are closing Beetlejuice. Yeah, it is finishing up its run. I think it's got maybe one more month, and then it's going to take a break from that theater, and I'm glad I got to check it out. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we're back, and there was some stuff in the news, some big trailers that happened. I don't want to talk too much about the Ghostbusters trailer because a lot of the internet's kind of already over it, and we're a week behind, so we're sorry. But what were your instant thoughts there, Grip, on the Ghostbusters trailer?
Not positive.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. The whole Spangler's grandchildren.
Because it was like, it worked for Stranger Things, and also we need a gender flip. So how do we do this? Well, we take one of the kids from Stranger Things, and then we gender flip the other kid.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've gotten. I do like Paul Rudd, and apparently the original cast is supposed to cameo again.
Yeah, but I feel like from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be the same cameo that was made in Casper, and it looks like they moved to the Casper house. Are they going to have a whole Casper the Ghost and
crossover
Ghostbusters
universe,
full blown crossover, and just solidify that even further? I mean, it's already a thing that's already happened.
It could be done
because Dan Aykroyd plays his character in that already. So
Ray,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Johnny Dalton over in the comments section on YouTube says, will Walter Peck return? I hope as well. Proving to everyone that this man has a dick. You remember that was the big famous scene? And he says, dickless over here. And he goes, how dare you? And he goes, is this true? And he goes, yes, sir. This man has no dick.
Oh, I'm familiar. Yeah.
Good scenes there.
I've seen The Boys That Bust the Ghosts.
Other trailer news that came out, one that I was particularly interested in. A lot of people aren't as huge of a Michael Winterbottom fan as I am, but I do really enjoy Michael Winterbottom, especially when he is working with the one, the only Steve Coogan. I freaking love Steve Coogan. He is one of the most underrated British actors that's currently working today. If you've never seen The Trip or The Trip to Italy or 24-Hour Party People or, just a myriad, Tristram Shandy, A Cock and Bull Story, another great Michael Winterbottom team-up. The Trip, another great Michael Winterbottom team-up. Like, there's a new film called Greed coming out in the UK this February. There's not a US release date yet, but I'm gonna have to see it. It's coming out with Sony Pictures, but the trailer dropped, and hey, it's Coogan, man. I love me some kooks. Yeah. Check out the trailer. It looks fun. It's dry, really sarcastic humor, and Steve Coogan. Most people they go, was that the guy in Night at the Museum? And you're like, yes, it was the guy in Night at the Museum. But he was very underutilized in that role. You're like, is that the guy in Tropic Thunder that was the director that got blown? Yes, he was. It was a very bit part, but Steve Coogan.
Why would you not say Hamlet 2?
Hamlet 2?
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo. But yeah.
Have you ever seen Hamlet 2?
I have seen Hamlet 2.
Yeah. Rock Me Sexy Jesus.
But most people have not seen Hamlet 2.
But it has Elizabeth Shue.
It does have Elizabeth Shue.
It's ridiculous. It's about musicals, which apparently is your jam.
It's not my jam all the time.
You went to Broadway, bro.
I did, but you've never been to Broadway. You don't understand the difference between like going to see... Because I don't really like musicals that much. Like, Hello Dolly's silly, and West Side Story's silly, and Oklahoma's silly, and Sound of Music's silly.
I guess we'll wait and see what your review on Cats is like to really determine that.
So Cats I'd see on Broadway. I'd never in a million years. You're going to have to
That's not what you told me off camera. You're
going to have to push me through the theater door to check out that CGI monstrosity. I'm not going to. No. But I'd see the Broadway thing. I mean, I'd watch it. Anyway, other trailers. You just watched one.
Yeah, well, there were several that we've missed in the interim. Wonder Woman 1984 trailer was released. Mm-hmm. How about that? With old Chris Pine's character making a return some 66 to nearly 70 years after the plot of the first movie, having not aged at all, when he should look like the dude who chose poorly from
Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade.
So that's gonna be something. It has a pretty good, decent trailer out there for that. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll see how that goes. The new Top Gun trailer was released here recently. It looks sick. It looks so good, bro.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna
you need to watch it.
Judgment, but lately, Grip, like some of these things that you've been seeing that are quote unquote sick.
Have you ever seen Top Gun in your life?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
The hanging with the boys, motorcycles, the high five.
That's the first one. You're just like, yo. That deep cut hanging with the boys best track on
such
the
a
movie.
Good track.
You're like Highway to the Danger Zone. Forget that.
No, that's the overplay.
You
need that
boys.
B-sides.
No, I'm talking about the that like Top Gun theme.
No, see, every time I think about Top Gun and I try to remember it from my childhood, my brain always goes back to the NES Top Gun game, which was like kind of cool until you got to either the refueling level or the try to land that fucking plane on the aircraft carrier. And both of those things were literally impossible. I don't know how you get past those parts in those stupid parts. The NES game was so fucking frustrating. Kind of like the Jaws game where you get all the way to Jaws and you're supposed to use the charges and then you lift the boat up somehow by magic and you're supposed to stab Jaws with the mast of your boat and it never works.
Did you ever play the 360 Jaws game? Like the PS3 360
No,
one?
dude.
Oh, you just get to, it's like Jaws 3D. You just get to go through the whole marine zoo and eat everyone and everything.
Oh, you are Jaws?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of dope.
Sick. Yeah. Sick. My brother sent me that in a text one time. And I laughed forever. You know what? Going back real quick, I like Johnny's idea that Chris Pine might end up being the Martian Manhunter in a shape-shifted form.
Dude, that would be a cool crossover moment.
That raises the question, where's my boy Jon Jones during the Justice League nonsense that was going down? He was like, what? Aliens attacking the planet?
Nope,
like, been through that once before. Not my scene.
Yeah, he's like, man, there sure is a lot of fire around the city. I'm
like,
I'm out,
I'm
bro.
out of here, bro. I'm going to use my mental powers to just observe. No, because Martian Manhunter's
Is
like
the dude.
one of the most powerful beings in DC. That's just always put off for some reason. They're like, oh, you can use your brain powers and you have all the abilities of Superman, but we're just gonna have you be like not present for anything
The
ever.
Justice League secretary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, coming in off the Facebook comments, Gentry says there's a new Top Gun board game coming out with a volleyball skill building aspect. Oh my God, yes! I hope you're not joking.
Do you like roll to see if you connect with the top and low?
That would be
Dude, you
amazing.
got to watch the trailer though. It does. It looks really good. The last one I was stoked on. This one, Tom Cruise is flying like a fighter plane, and knowing Tom Cruise,
He was probably flying. that
he probably
fighter
convinced
plane.
someone to actually let him fly like a real jet fighter.
That's kind of his thing.
And if not, he's pulling off some amazing acting in the trailer.
Not a sentence you hear very often. Tom
What?
Cruise pulling off some amazing acting.
Have you ever watched any of the Mission Impossibles?
Yes. And
Okay.
he's always just Tom Cruise.
Yeah, which is pretty good in those movies.
I mean, yeah, I'm not arguing there. I'm
You ever
just
see
saying it's not
Legend, bro?
acting. He's just... He was like a kid. He was still fresh out of film school, like eager and wanting it before Tom Cruise was a brand.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise can be a pretty sweet brand.
I mean, yeah, I'm not disagreeing that the Tom Cruise is a pretty
mean,
sweet brand.
You like
he's-
vampires and stuff?
I do. Interview with the Vampires in my top 5 favorite vampire movies of all time. He was good in that.
So you're just coming at me, you're like, oh, Tom Cruise, oh, that's
He
dumb.
hasn't been a
I'm
good
like,
actor in a long time. So Jack Reacher solidified the fact that all he has to do is be Tom Cruise and do wild stunts.
Okay, but the
He's
first Jack
he's
Reacher
our American
is
Jackie Chan.
Siak.
You realize he's kind of like the American Jackie Chan to stunts. Like there's no American actor. Well, I guess Keanu Reeves is starting to catch up with him. That does all their own
as soon
stunts.
as Keanu Reeves gets strapped to a real plane, and he's like, "Yo, take the plane. I'm the producer. Strap me to the plane. Send me into space,
insurance.
Yeah. As soon as Keanu Reeves does that, then sure. But right now, Tom Cruise is the man on that.
I know.
real.
I feel weird and saying that, but man, hey, props to Tom Cruise.
What's the
whatever
other
Paragon
trailer
level
that came
7
out?
he is in Scientology or whatever. I don't know what the other trailers. The new Bond,
Yeah,
No
yeah.
Time to Die trailer. This is the last one that Daniel Craig has agreed to do. I've said this before about the Daniel Craig Bonds. These are some of my favorite Bonds because they make Bond sort of a realistic character, something that you can sort of, instead of just going, oh yeah, he's invincible and always suave and always bangs all the hot ladies and has all the cool toys, they turned him into somebody that is a little bit more realistic. It's, especially I think it was Skyfall, where it's kind of, he's becoming a little bit antiquated, and he's in a world that doesn't really need a Bond anymore. And what would happen if this dude is just a living weapon the whole time? He'd kind of be a little strange and a little sad, and he is. And
That's what this movie is.
yes, in the No Time to Die trailer, it going all in on Bond sadness.
Yeah, but there's parts of it where I'm like, yo, that looks fun. But then there's parts of it where there's like a rival 00 and they're like, oh, we're not going to get along.
That I thought was
Because
a little,
I'm younger and newer and different and
diverse and female.
yeah.
And
then it has like Rami Malek and he's like,
dude, Rami Malek is the man. Don't you say any. You hold your tongue and watch Mr. Robot.
okay, but did you watch the friggin' Queen movie?
You hold your tongue and
Objectively?
watch Mr. Robot.
Okay, well,
Objectively, then Rami Malek still did a pretty good job.
anyhow, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about his character. I don't know how I feel about the return of old soft talker. What's his name? Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because they're like, oh, he's your brother, Bond, but like adopted. So not real brothers, so don't feel too bad about it. But also he has like the one eye and he's the dude from Goldfinger or some nonsense. And you're just like, none of this makes sense and it's dumb. And they're like, watch out for the toothless guy who wants to like gum your wee and did you watch the one I'm talking about?
The one where someone gums his wee-wee? I don't remember
Old
this.
toothless weirdo guy and like the
Javier
subway
Bardem?
tunnels. That's the guy.
Where he pulls like I don't know, he touches his cheek and winks, and then the half of his face goes bleh, like Clayface.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, and he has like Bond strapped to that chair, and he's like sensual touching him, and it's real weird. And then Batista's there for 5 seconds, and the world is like, look how good Batista is in this James Bond movie. I can't believe Batista just really made it work on film. It's like, okay, what about the 15 movies he was in before his 5-second stupid Bond cameo?
Feel that.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do know that.
Anyhow, this one looks like the motorcycle stunts look cool.
Pretty cool trailer.
There's some action sequences that look cool. I don't know about this like extra new love interest that has a background that you're not aware of, and I guess that's going to be like one of the
it all up
crucial points of the movie.
Yeah. Well, in less interesting sequel news,
Joe Q's a baby.
Yeah, of course. Joe Johnston. You know Joe Johnston? He was the original director of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Currently in talks with Disney to helm yet another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I rebooted the franchise?
Yes, about Rick Moranis' son now shrinking his own kids. Why would he do that? There is no logical explanation for the nightmare fodder that child had to go through.
Which one? Like the son that was shrunk in the first movie, or the baby that was blown up?
No, it couldn't be the baby that was blown up. That kid's a murderer, because he was
psychopathic in that movie. Yeah.
It has to be the younger kid with the big Coke bottle glasses.
The giant glasses. Yeah. Don't eat me, I'm in your cereal. Yeah. Ants are my best friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oatmeal cream pies.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's like, remember when we lived in a weird Duplo and there was like an ant that could somehow battle a scorpion because it was either the biggest ant or the smallest scorpion, but we teased it with little Debbie's. You remember?
And then we made friends with it, and then it died for us.
Yeah, and then we got cereal eaten, and dog sneezed, and lawn mowered. You remember? Let's do that.
Let's do it again to my children.
Yeah, he's like,
this is how you grow up,
really
kid.
Shaped me.
Yeah. And so it's teaching his kids lessons.
Hey kids, can I see you in the other room?
Pew, 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 pew. And they're like, Dad, no. And then he's like, yeah, this is how you got to grow up.
Yeah, and then he turns a fan on, starts stomping around the room, and he's like, I hope you live.
It's just teaching some reality to these young millennials. Growing up literally and figuratively. But I don't know how I feel about this. It's funny that they're trying to get the original director to return to it. But other stupid remakes, the new Home Alone cast has been announced. Even though they have made several sequels to this franchise, they have never quite tried to just straight up reboot it. But we don't know how this one's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be a direct reboot or just another sequel. But it does have the kid from Jojo Rabbit, not the main kid, but his best friend, played by child actor Archie Yates, who was hysterical in the movie.
Have you seen interviews with that kid?
I know, but I'm sure he's hilarious.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's like, hey, I heard people say that they don't want to see Jojo Rabbit because it's about mean people and they use the F word. But let me tell you, it's a really good movie and it's sweet and it's fun and you'll like it. And you're like, okay, kid. Yeah,
he's got those like Ralphie May, or what's Ralphie's last name in the Christmas Carol story?
Not Ralphie May.
Ralphie Mays is that comedian, but no, Ralphie Fudge is who we're gonna go. Yeah, Ralphie.
Yeah,
everybody knows Ralph, but he wears those Ralphie glasses, and it's I don't know. He's a funny looking kid, but they've announced that cast. Also, let us mention a little bit. We have lost another actor, another famous, hardworking actor that never really got the big starring roles, but was always a crazy awesome supporting role. And you probably will say his name and you'll be like, I don't know who you're talking about, but he has been in so many movies, and he died this past week, and that's Danny Aiello. He was a producer. He was an actor. He was in Hudson Hawk, which I love. It's just one of those campy, stupid 80s movies.
Stupid.
But Do the Right Thing. He was in The Professional. He made a lot of dude. I mean, let's go through some of these things. He's been working since the 70s. He was in Once Upon a Time in America. He was in what else was Man on Fire. He was in Moonstruck and Do the Right Thing and Harlem Nights and Jacob's Ladder, Hudson Hawk and Rudy. The Professional, he was just everywhere. Brooklyn State of Mind, Prince of Central Park, Lucky Number 11, which is, I really like that movie quite a bit. Just a ton of movies. He was always kind of that character actor that you would always see in usually movies that take place in New York. Mm-hmm. He's always that New York guy. I'm New York guy. Hey, Danny Aiello, I'm New York guy. You need a guy in New York? It's me. I'm your guy.
Yeah, he was always that character.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy in New York. I get that. I make it happen. I'm that guy. But anyway, we lost one, and hats off to you for doing so many really good things with your career. All right, that's about it with the news. There's a Power Rangers reboot happening again.
So they're not going to continue from the last movie?
No, I think they've decided they're going to reboot it. What was it? What's his name? Saban?
Yeah.
Saban. Sabans. Oh.
Well, there is a World War I movie, The Great War, out right now. That's a Saban film.
Saban.
And it's about a little platoon of African-American soldiers in World War I, and it has guest spots with Clancy Brown and
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, and there was a couple other like really big names in it. But it's out on, I think, Apple TV right now, but it's also in some select theaters or something like that.
Speaking of Clancy Brown, just on a whim the other day, I was cooking in the kitchen at my house, doing some experimental alcohol crafting. I'm entering a holiday eggnog competition this Wednesday at Holidays here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's a Christmas-themed pop-up bar right off the square, and I think there's about 6 of us that are competing in this eggnog competition, and one of mine will be in it. I have probably the most unique and unusual entry into the thing, so if you go down there, all of the proceeds are being donated to charity. But you can go down there and try all 5 or 6 of the sampled nogs in a flight, and then vote for which ones you like best. But anyway, I was sitting there, I was experimenting on nog, and I watched The Highlander again. I haven't seen The Highlander in forever. And
what?
It's like, I hadn't watched it in ages.
You don't watch it like every 6 months like I do?
No, but I was just like, Clancy Brown, my dude, that Kurgan life.
Oh, the Kurgan.
Oof.
Yeah. Especially when he gets in that car with that old woman and
he's driving. He's like,
and he just turns up the queen.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And then he's all creepy in the church and everything, and he has like his big neck scar
gash
from where he almost became part of the quickening.
Mm-hmm.
And he killed my boy Ramirez. Ramirez is the coolest dude ever.
So you heard that like they're trying to do a thing where Ramirez is not dead, right?
Like in Highlander 2?
Well, no. I think they were trying to do some sort of weird story reboot. And, yeah, Highlander 2, Ramirez wasn't dead either. Like what? And
he was dead, but they brought him back, and then he walked around in modern times in his, like, Shakespeare
video
outfit.
game had a...
And he's like, I need to have, like, new clothes. How much for that suit? And the guy's like, more than you can afford, Shakespeare in the Park. And he goes, will this do? And he has, like, a handful of doubloons or something, and the guy, like... wets his pants, and like Ramirez just walks out as like a refined gentleman.
You know, I'm pretty sure if I pulled out gold doubloons at like a tailor, I was like, hey, how about this antiquated gold currency? They'd be like, get out of here, you weirdo. Like no one's like gonna pull out their eyepiece and go, oh gosh, this is pirate gold, kink, and like
They do in movies.
do the
man.
bite and it tastes real to me.
Everyone hates on Highlander 2, but it has Michael Ironside in it, and there's a really good scene where Ramirez and the friggin' Highlander, what's his name, Duncan.
Connor McLeod.
Yeah, Connor.
Duncan's the USA.
That's the TV show.
Yeah,
which was awesome. They sneak into a facility in body bags because they let themselves get taken out. And
Put them in a body
they
bag,
count how many
Connor.
bullets they were each riddled with, and they have a competition. They're like, I was shot like 207 times. Oh, I got 212. It's pretty good.
That's a weird
Highlander 2
weird
kind of
flex.
sucks, but yeah, that's fun.
Well, movies are coming out this weekend. There are two big juggernaut movies that only one of them's going to get seen because the other one looks like trash. And the funny thing is you'll never know which one we're talking about because they both kind of look like trash. Yikes. I said it, and I know the grip's going to hate it, and both of these films, he's probably just not... Are you even going to go to the theater?
Yes. I have plans to go to the theater this week. There is a Telugu movie out that looks really good. Check your local listings for this. It came out on Friday the 13th. It is called Vinky Mama. It's a comedy and a drama with some action in there.
Dramedy?
Go figure, out of a Indian cinema film. It is Telugu. It looks really good. Lots of color, lots of dancing, lots of action. It looks fun as hell. So I do plan on watching that because we do have it locally. So I'm going to try to go to that this week. When's Christmas trivia? Is that this week or next?
That is this Wednesday as well. So in addition, if you don't want to go drink the nog, you can, which starts at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time if you're here living in the Northwest Arkansas listening area, you can go see the last tavern trivia for the year. I only do the holiday editions now, but this is the last of the trilogy. I do Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas is upon us. And the Drive-In Speakerbox Tavern Trivia Christmas Special is a thing of legend.
Yeah.
And you can go visit Santa.
That might put a damper on my Vinky Mama plans.
Oh, because isn't Vinky Mama like 100 hours long, like most Telugu films?
I think it's like between 2 and 3, somewhere in there. But that's not too out of the ordinary for most bigger movies anymore.
Well, Tavern Trivia is this Wednesday at 8 o'clock at the Smoke and Barrel Tavern here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, if you're in our live listening area. You know what I've thought about doing, and I don't know if this, of course it's not legal, but I have this old FM transmitter that I've thought about hooking up here into the Speaker Lab studio so that when we're going live, we can actually transmit in about like a mile radius.
Pirate radio?
I've thought about doing it. We just need to set the antenna up somewhere and crawl up on top. But since we're on the second floor, it makes it easier. But wouldn't that be cool? I bought it because I was doing these pop-up drive-in movies where I would hook it up to in my Bronco and just pull up to a wall and broadcast the FM sound of the movie and then broadcast the movie off a projector onto a wall so people could pull up and we'd have like a little pirate drive-in. But I only did that like twice. Anyway, movies coming out this weekend. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars.
There's your Ghostbusters tie-in.
There it is. Bill Murray. But Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, directed by J.J. Abrams. The surviving resistance faces the First Order once more in the final chapter of the Skywalker saga, where Disney can finally... and thankfully for them, get rid of the whole original storyline and move on to Gizmo, a.k.a. Baby Yoda iterations and nonsensical plot lines and product tie-ins from now until the foreseeable end of the galaxy.
What Skywalker? There's no Skywalkers. Unless they're like, oh, you remember how everyone thought that Rey was maybe a Skywalker? It turns out she is.
She is. Plot twist. You were right the whole time. Doop, doop, doop.
Yeah.
Just like they did in Lost and just like
Fuck
they did
you,
in
Abrams.
everything. Just like,
I hate J.J. Abrams.
Well, anyway, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, Disney has already
Hate it
said
so much.
they are getting away from the trilogy format because they want to release a movie every year. And
because that worked out so well.
Exactly.
With friggin' Solo.
They want to release movies haphazardly whenever they feel like it, but they want to rely on the television programming because that is where the money is.
Hurry up and turn my Deveronian comics into a movie. That's the good stuff. I did see that a Deveronian shows up in Mandalorian. It's played by some famous actor, and I can't remember who it is.
I haven't caught up.
I don't watch the show.
I haven't caught up with The Mandalorian. I think the last one I saw was episode 5. I think we're on episode 6 now. Honestly, everyone's like, "Why is so good?" And I am still yet to be impressed by the show. Again, I made the point on our Driving Speakerbox Facebook. You know, everybody loves Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda is a repackaged Gizmo from Gremlins, which I was writing an article for a local publication, and they were like, "We want you to talk about one of your favorite Christmas movies." And I was like, well, you know, I could go off of a weird bucket-like tangent list thing of Christmas movies that most people are never going to sit down and watch. But I did Gremlins, and little did I know that Netflix, I was letting someone proofread my review, and they're like, "This sounds like the movies that made us on Netflix." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And it was, I guess they did a thing on Gremlins, because I went on a tangent about everybody thinking that Steven Spielberg directed Gremlins, but he didn't. It's very much like the Tim Burton thing on Nightmare Before Christmas. It says Tim Burton Presents, who's just the executive producer, but it was Henry Selick that did it because he's the real genius, not that fucking hack, Tim Burton. But anyway, the real genius between Gremlins is Chris Columbus and Joe Dante, who directed the film, and those dudes deserve the credit, not Steven Spielberg.
They're the ones that came up with a naked wiener.
Yeah, we've got
gremlin.
We got this one right here on the set if you're watching the live stream. And then also we got Holiday Gizmo back here.
Oh.
Yeah, let me just pull him down.
Yeah, obligatory Hook shout out.
Hey,
Hook
look,
is
it's Baby Yoda. I got a Baby Yoda action figure.
Yeah, pre-shaved.
Yeah, this is puberty Baby Yoda. Yeah. He like grows all his hair. I mean, down to the nose, the eyes, the mouth, the triple fingers. I mean, Gizmo, I'm pretty sure they reused Gizmo molds to make Baby Yoda. He is a freaking carbon copy.
Yeah, but Mogwais are way cooler.
Yeah, they can whistle sing.
You know what? I'm going to say it. What's that meme with the nerd? He's like, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Yoda was a prick, man. In episode 5. Oh, that sounds just like Gizmo. Yeah, that's pretty good. He steals Luke's food, and he's a doucher to old R2, and Yoda kind of sucks. And when you first meet him,
yeah, but like, how do you get so big eating food of this kind?
You know who didn't suck?
Frank
Gizmo.
Oz. Yeah, Gizmo was awesome.
Oh no, yeah, Frank Oz is super cool.
Gizmo had heart. He was brave. He was loyal.
Oh, that's true.
Honest.
Rambo.
Yeah, and part 2 helped save the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Gizmo is the jam. Baby Yoda can eat my butt. You heard it here first, because I think Baby Yoda is the Hypno-Toad of Disney. Don't believe it.
Stare into the eyes of the Hypno-Toad.
Yeah, and you can't ignore it. But anyway, Star Wars.
The new South Park episode made fun of it, too.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank God, someone standing up to the power of this Baby Yoda. But anyway, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. If you haven't got your tickets, then you're smart. And just wait. I've promised my family I would go see this with them on Christmas, so I'm going to wait. That's what they want to see, and there you go. So I might try and go see Honey Boy this next week, or during the week.
Honey Boy's good.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah, I reviewed it on the show.
Oh, that's right. You did. That was the last time. It's been a long time. It's been 2 weeks. Also coming out this weekend is from director Tom Hooper with Idris Elba, Judi Dench, Taylor Swift, Francesca Hayward is Cats. The CGI live action, what the hell are we looking at monstrosity of a film? I cannot believe that this is not just people in makeup doing Cats things like it should be.
James Corden and Ian McKellen.
It has a lot of people. The cast is an ensemble cast. Oh man, I don't know. I just don't know why, how, For what reason? To what end? Are they building a Cats-averse? Are we going to get a sequel? If it does enough money, we'll probably get a sequel. And then definitely Cats 2 Electric Boogaloo would even make sense. Yeah.
As long as they do like the broom.
That pop and lock with the broomstick coming in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie's coming out this weekend. And also expanded release of Bombshell from director Jay Roach, with Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, John Lithgow. That kind of story about the Fox News head, Roger Ailes, and all that like mansplaining he did over there.
I like how just the cast of that movie, someone was like, who's blonde in movies? And they're like, well, there's this one, that one, that one. And you stop right there.
We got them.
Right, we got them. That's it.
We got them.
Holler at their agents. You know what else is coming out that looks crazy exciting?
You think we're going to get it here?
Yeah, because our local theater has a big old poster board for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen in the listening audience, can you guess what movie that the Grip is excited about or where it's from?
Da Bang 3. Go to YouTube, look up Da Bang.
With double G's.
Yeah. DABANGG. Look it up, and you're going to see clips of movies that you've probably seen memes made out of at some point. And you're going to be like, oh, that movie? And you're going to be like, yeah, that does look friggin' cool. And then you're going to want to watch Da Bang. And guess what? If you live here, you can, because we're going to have it.
We're going to get it.
And it's
going to
get
it.
A way better Star Wars alternative. So I think
3 hours and just at the same runtime, another 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it's Hindi.
Hindi?
Yeah. So I'm gonna try.
I mean, it does. I know I'm being a little a naysayer, but it does look awesome.
Dude,
I mean, the first two Da Bangs have some. What he said about the meme-worthy clips, you've definitely seen. Like the one,
it's like Super Cop.
Yeah. It's the one where I know everybody's seen it, where the car like is spinning out of control and he just steps out of it like nonchalantly as the car is like spinning, and he just has the gun out. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Hey, also, if you want to catch up on Da Bang or familiarize yourself with the series, Amazon has like an add-on now for their rentals and things, which is like all South Asian cinema or something like that. Looks pretty cool if you're into that kind of thing to have on your Amazon Prime add-on. But yeah, the trailer for Da Bang 3 looks super good. So I guess I might be trying to watch Vinky Mama and Da Bang. Dude, that'd be a good weekend. Fuck Star Wars, man.
There we go. Well, speaking of stupid movies, let's talk about Jumanji: The Next Level. You saw it.
Jumanji.
You love it. You loved the first one. You couldn't stop talking about how much you loved the first one.
That's not true.
Bull crap. I think.
Rewind. Let's go back 2 years to the review of that movie.
Man, okay, so that reminds me of something that I wanted to mention on tonight's episode. For those of you out there, shameless self-promotion time. Find us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. You can watch the live stream. You can participate in the chat. We got a big chat going right here on the side. And you can see us in our holiday background and all our fun decolletage that's in the background, our new portraits and all this fun stuff. But if you're just listening to the MP3 only podcast over on Spotify, Google Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, one of the reasons we cannot post all of the old archived shows going back years and years and years, because I've been doing this show for literal years and years and years, is because of music licensing. So a lot of those older episodes featured music from film scores. When we would take our breaks, when we'd do all this kind of stuff, since we were on a radio station, we had a particular license with ASCAP and BMI to where we could play this music over the FM, spectrum, and it would be okay. But on the internet, however, they flag all of that content as copyrighted, and so a lot of those older episodes can't be online without getting flagged as we don't own that stupid. So thank the internet. It really, really pisses me off. But I think maybe we could make. I want to try
start editing those, man.
Well, I want to figure out if we can like get some sort of, kind of like bring back our Patreon deal, and then have like an access the vault sort of thing where you could download really ancient episodes. You just have access to this like a Mediafire server or whatever. I don't know.
No.
I'm just spitballing ideas while our producer's over there like going, God, more shit for me to do.
You know what we could do? Go back and we could you could edit the music out of those, and then when it comes to it, we can just like hum and sing like the songs in their place.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Or get like a recorder and like a little tiny
slide
drum.
whistle.
Yeah.
I think someone in previous episodes they suggested like an instrumental, not the original, track, but an instrumental,
like a MIDI version.
Not a true MIDI. I mean, it would work, but then it comes down to would people want to hear that? I don't know. I mean, there's going to be some improvements on like, you're going to have the little keyboard over there and this and that. So
we can get like a little MIDI keyboard, and we can we can just re-record the music as MIDI files. Like,
that'd be cool.
Or they're also readily available. It's just about how much time we want. Yeah, like prep time per episode.
Too much.
Yeah,
Too much.
We need to build it. Like at that point, we'll need like a small additional crew members.
Yeah. I don't know. We don't have the budget for that yet. But questions coming in off YouTube. Johnny Dalton asks, did Spielberg direct Animaniacs? No, he did not. He was the executive producer of the Animaniacs, and his production company oversaw that, I believe.
Before we get into talking about the jungles of Jumanji, Johnny says that the holiday special for Star Wars is canon now because of the Mandalorian show. Does that mean that they brought in Lumpy and Itchy and Malatabuck?
No,
and
the first line out of the character's mouth that on screen was like, "Oh yeah, I was saving that for Life Day."
Oh,
yeah. So they just
Lumpy and Itchy and Malatabuck are a thing that exists.
They are canon now, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so Jumanji, the next level, taking it to the next level. Jake Kasdan directing, starring Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart.
Well, hold on. Starring Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, with smaller roles occupied by Karen Gillan and Jack Black, and guest appearances by Danny Glover, Nick Jonas, and Danny DeVito.
And Awkwafina.
Yeah. You know what? Who are you people?
And Colin Hanks.
Yeah, but he was in the first, so a return. But don't look at the IMDb and ruin this.
Who are the people that are excited about this movie?
Who are the people that keep wanting to be like, you know what? The Rock makes everything sell more. It makes it bigger. Kevin Hart moves tickets. People love Jack Black. Karen Gillan, up and comer. She's in those.
She's what?
Guardians. I'm giving you a hard time. She's in those Guardians of the Galaxy movies. All that. She's Scottish. That's cool. People want that. But then who's like, you know what could really add to the mix here? We got Nick Jonas. We got the rest of those that I just listed off. But you know who could really amp it up one more notch? Awkwafina. Who does that? Quit. She makes everything terrible.
This movie is literally called The Next Level. They're trying to take it to the next level by adding more gratuitous nonsense.
Oh, yeah, they did. And it's definitely big time Rock and Kevin Hart doing their Danny DeVito and
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover, thank you. The Danny impressions. For the majority of the movie, which gets really old because the idea is that they're old guys who are mostly inept and they can't figure out the idea behind a video game and they just ruin it for everybody the entire time. They get everyone down to one life, like basically at the beginning. And really the movie does kind of portray video games in the sense that you're extremely frustrated the entire time watching someone else play because you're like, why don't you just do the easy, obvious thing? And why are you terrible at this? And if that's what they were going for, because that's like a video game thing, then they nailed it. But the music's good. Other than that,
my cricket's so bad.
Yeah, it's like the same thing again. You don't get much out of it. I mean, there's not really much to talk about. Rory McCann, a.k.a., as you guys probably know him, the Hound from Game of Thrones, is the bad guy in it. Very generic bad guy.
This movie is the definition of very generic.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But
what's the deal with the horse? Why is it in all the posters and stuff?
So the whole thing is that they don't get to pick their characters in this because the video game cartridge is broken. So they all come in their random characters, but then there's a mechanism in the game where they can kind of tweak and fix that. But one of the characters comes in as a horse, which is a playable character. And so you have, instead of just the 4 to choose from, and then later find out 5 in the first incarnation of the video game version of these. And this one, you now have 6 or 7 playable characters because they have to find a way to fit in more differences. Yeah, basically. Everything's pretty much given away in the first 5 seconds of the trailer of the movie. You know what's going to happen. The only thing you didn't realize is how annoying the portrayal of old dudes and
didn't realize
Aquafina paired in.
Pretty sure,
but it goes on for so long, like the entire movie.
Sounds exhausting.
It was, but you do finally get a character return for the original Jumanji to tie them in together. I don't know if
the board game tie-in?
Yes.
Really?
There's a character that's brought in, and I don't know if it's supposed to be the same character, but it's the same name and the same actor. So there's that. And to tie it in with your Beetlejuice, as old Catherine O'Hara would say, bebe. You know what I'm saying?
Bebe?
Yeah. You ever watch Schitt's Creek?
I have not.
Oh, it's pretty good. So there is a little bit of a original Jumanji tie-in, but you have to sit through the entire movie to get it, and you have to be like a Jumanji fan, I guess, to really pick it out. But overall, I mean, there's really nothing here for anybody. I don't know who this is targeted towards or what their goal with this movie was going to be. The whole plot is like I'm a loser again, still. Can't wait to go back into the video game. And everyone's like, why'd you go back in the video game? Oh, because I felt like a loser, still, again. And they're like, you're not a loser. And he's like, wow, geez, friendship. And then, they're like, let's never do it again. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Oh, I thought we agreed that the last movie.
Jumanji.
Yep. Old Jumanjis.
Well,
no, Vince. It's unfortunately not Robin Williams. A bit difficult to make that happen. But you think they would mention old Alan? What's his last name? What's the name of the character
in Jumanji?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but no, that's not it. But there is a character they bring in. That's what I'm saying. You really got to be like kind of knowing about Jumanjis. All
right. Well, Jumanji in theaters right now. You can check it out if you're not going to go see Star Wars or Cats this weekend or what have you. I think that's really...
It might be an okay alternative to those just because of how bad those are going to be.
Yeah, no joke. Oof.
I mean...
I do want to go see Uncut Gems, which is supposed to be coming out.
The Adam Sandler movie?
Yes. It's supposed to get like a nationwide release on Christmas, even though it's already been released in limited release.
Yeah.
It's getting incredible reviews, and it's supposed to hit VOD, or I think Netflix exclusive on January 31st, and I really want to go see that.
So, I mean, before I get too far away from it, really talking about people that hit you with acting and you're really not expecting it from it. Jack Black and Karen Gillan both do a really good job, and I think they're a bit underplayed because it's just the Rock and Kevin Hart show, and they really run away with that. So you miss out on what is really pretty decent character acting from the lesser screen time of the two that were there.
Word.
Because Jack Black ends up portraying like 4 different characters.
Oh, what a thespian.
Yep.
All right, well, there you go. Jumanji in theaters right now. I'm going to shift gears over here and do a brief little talk about Beetlejuice. I know we don't normally review musicals or Broadway live things, but it is based off of a movie, which is kind of interesting how we're starting to see a lot more movie-based things become live-action musicals. There's an Aladdin musical now, and, of course, there was the Lion King one.
That was immediate, though.
Yeah, that was immediate, but Aladdin wasn't. That one's relatively new. And, yeah, it's just becoming more and more of the norm. But Beetlejuice was a thing that's been out for a couple years, and now about to start looking for a new home, despite winning a couple of awards, not necessarily for the content, but definitely it's won several awards for its set design. This was a visual feast. It was, man, I've seen a lot of stage stuff, and the set design was super, super, super cool on this one. The songs, I mean, I'm not going to go, it takes a lot of the movie, repackages it, makes some changes to make it make a little more sense musically, in the sense that Beetlejuice is just waiting for them to summon him. He's there the whole time, and Lydia doesn't have a stepmom yet. The character of Lydia's mom in the film, or stepmom, is some sort of like spiritual guru or interior designer for her dad Charles, and so Delia is just sort of an interior designer that's having an affair with Charles.
Well, hold up. In the movie, it's not their step parent. That's like a real.
No, that's her stepmom. Isn't it?
No, that's like straight up like her parents.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is Delia. Yeah, Delia is the mom. So in this one, it's the stepmom. Delia's they get married or something, and they're not married. And Lydia's so sad because her mom died, and her real mom died, and it goes off this whole thing where she tries to go to the underworld to go find her real mom, and
so it's kind of more like the cartoon a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's borrows very heavily from that, and it's funny because the main characters in the movie become tertiary characters in this musical, much like the cartoon. Alec Baldwin's character and Gina Davis's character are almost just the butt of several jokes in the musical without actually really having their own place to thrive in this. And so it's just a setup for Beetlejuice and Lydia to kind of have that cartoon chemistry that they had, but in a musical format. It was pretty cool. Some of the songs were kind of catchy, a lot of one-liners, a lot of F-bombs, which was kind of funny to see in a musical. It was very raunchy. I will say that the cast was pretty cool. I mean, I did get a little aggravated at there was two people in the film that they're just Barbara. The Maitlands, so Barbara Maitland, played by Carrie Butler, and then also Lydia, played by Sophia Caruso. They both had this sort of Britney Spears-y sort of to their singing voice, and it just got a little on my nerves. Every song has a baby girl voice, and it's like, God, get over this. Like, can you just sing like a woman? Just sing like a woman. And I mean,
like Shania Twain.
Like, I want to sing like a woman. Yeah, I mean, it was just there was a little too much squeakiness in some of the songs for me. But I mean, Lydia was played by a young girl, so I get that, and she was very impressive considering she's carrying most of this stage show on Broadway, and she's half the age of half the cast, which was kind of neat. But yeah, I mean the sets alone were really, really impressive and made it a lot of fun to go see. And glad I went and saw it. I wanted to go see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, but it's like a 5-hour you got to get 2 tickets.
Yeah, and why would you really?
It takes place after the movies.
And it's official,
and it's official canon.
And Rowling has started writing it into books and releasing those, but also it's dumb.
Well, it's a musical.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, J.K. Rowling was like, oh, yeah, that's what I meant the first time around. Actually, I just wasn't confident in that, but now that you've tweeted it, yes, if that gets me likes and makes me relevant again, money, please. Yeah, forget this entire universe and these characters and how they're established. It turns out they're completely different.
Cash money.
The whole time.
Ching, ching, ching. Is there Is there a wallet Expelliarmus sort of like to get the money out of your pocket?
She's worse than Accio. Accio your money.
Pew!
You know. Yeah. She's worse than old Lucas with his special edition Greedo nonsense.
Greedy Greedo.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there's that Beetlejuice Broadway. Got to check it out. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, there we go. That's our review portion of the show, and now it is time for the box office totals for the weekend. Looks like you had a thought there, Grip.
Oh, I didn't realize we had a Cursed Child in the U.S. Actually, I just thought about that because it was like London, only for a super long time.
No, it's full on Broadway on Manhattan production. I went into the building, looked in the gift shop. It was pretty neat. But anyway, all right, let's go over the box office roundup for this last weekend. This is going to be what was that? The 13th through the 8th, I guess, or 13th through the 15th. I can't read numbers. We're going to give you the top 10 movies in America, starting with number 10, going to number 1, telling you what made money, because this is how movies are greenlit and how sequels are determined and all of this stuff. These are domestic totals only, not worldwide totals, unless we specify. So here we go. Number 10 movie in America, 21 Bridges in its 4th week in release, dropping down from the number 7 spot, bringing in only $1.1 million in its 4th week from STX Entertainment, bringing it up to $26.3 million domestic gross. Not a huge return on that one. Number 9, Dark Waters from Focus Features in its 4th week in release, bringing in $1.8 million. So far only bringing in 8.7, but it was only in limited release, I think. So it's not in many theaters, but
not like
it
it
was expanded.
Advertised all over the place or anything.
Negative. Number 8, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood from Sony, bringing in another $3.2 million in its 4th week in release, bringing it up to $49.2 million at the box office. Number 7, Queen and Slim from Universal, bringing in $3.5 million in its 3rd week in release, bringing it up to $33.1, doing pretty decent for that lower budget film. Number 6, Ford versus Ferrari, bringing in another $4 million in its 5th week in release for 20th Century Fox, bringing it up to $98.1 million at the box office. Number 5, Black Christmas, which is a remake, by the way. I know we didn't really get to talk about it last week because it wasn't here last week, but all these people have been tweeting at me like, Black Christmas, are you going to go see this? It's a remake, you guys. It's a remake, I believe it's 1974, and they did what they're doing with everything these days and giving it a feminist gender flip, and the original movie is very cool for a lot of reasons. It is a holiday horror Christmas classic. It's tasteless, but also well done. A lot of people worship this movie. I think a little bit irresponsibly, saying it did all these things first. It's not necessarily true. It uses the POV murder cam a lot more than any movie up to its date did, which is kind of interesting. I mean, you see other films like Maniac borrowing a really heavy out of its playbook, and then also John Carpenter's Halloween using the POV kind of shot several years later, but to a little bit more critical acclaim. But Black Christmas, the original, is something you should check out. It basically gave birth to the whole like phone call coming from within that, like prank calling, like like the horror prank call. It was invented in Black Christmas. It is worth it just to listen to these hilarious, raunchy, filthy, dirty crank calls. Super creepy. But anyway, this new one not doing well at the box office from Universal, only bringing in 4.2 in its opening weekend last weekend, and it is a remake. God damn it. Number 4, Richard Jewell. In its opening weekend from Warner Brothers, Clint Eastwood bringing in $4.6 million in its opening weekend. Early reviews are saying it's one of his better films of the past decade. Let's see. Over in the YouTube comments, Vince said, I just read an article that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a huge bomb because it's not making that much money anymore. Yes, and that is a thing that we talk about here on the show that is incredibly frustrating to us. But They need to figure out a word that is different than bomb, tank, and flops, because again, that does not measure quality. And for the millionth time, you guys, good movies don't have to make money to be good movies. Bad movies that make a lot of money are not good movies all the time. A bad movie can make a lot of money and still be a bad movie. Jumanji. Star Wars, Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the list, Jurassic World, like all of these trash, garbage, just churned out, formulaic pieces of poopy caca. You get other movies that have heart and soul and make you feel and have characters, and they don't make $1 billion in 2 weekends worldwide. It doesn't make them bombs. It doesn't make them bad movies. It just means a whole lot of people didn't go see them. Blade Runner 2020 is one of the premium examples of this. That movie is a masterpiece.
And it was one that you really should have watched in the theater.
You needed to see it in the theater.
You talk about a long movie. Don't ever talk about how long my Indian movies are when we both sat through that Blade Runner.
Dude, and it was considered a bomb. Anyway, there you go. Number 3, Knives Out from Lionsgate, bringing in $9.1 million in its third weekend release. $78.8 million to the box office right there for Lionsgate. Number 2, Frozen 2, bringing in another $19 million. Pretty heavy drop this week because Jumanji came out, and so they're taking the kids to that. Had a 45% drop at the box office from last week, but number 2 movie from Walt Disney, bringing in total of $366.4 million domestically. That is a lot of freaking money. I'm sure I'm just gonna double check those worldwide numbers really quick to see how close it is to getting into the billion. Oh, it's already into the $1 billion club. There you go. It is into the $1 billion club in its second weekend release, bringing $1,033,623,091 in 2 weeks. That is why you continue to see stuff like that.
It's been out 3 or 4.
Oh, I thought it was only 2. Oh, 4 weeks. Excuse me, 4 weeks. My bad. But still, $1 billion in 4 weeks.
Month, yeah.
That's stupid. That's stupid pants. Like, God, geez. All I want for Christmas is shit like that to go away. Anyway, number 1 movie in America, Jumanji, The Next Level, bringing in $59 million in its opening weekend from Sony, guaranteeing we're going to see another one of those. A $59 million opening is no small chunk of change, and especially when you had a $125 million budget. It is probably going to see that through unless Skywalker, Rise of, Star Wars, whatever, bumps it down. But I have a feeling that Cats is going to be no contest to Jumanji, and I think that is going to be the other white meat of the options at the theater for your holiday season.
Unless you're a cool boy going to watch Da Bang.
Unless you are a cool boy going to watch Da Bang, which I think is only playing in
7 theaters.
15 theaters nationwide. But anyway, there you go. That is your box office totals for the week, and that is our show for this week. Let's see, what is it looking like on the calendar here? We've got next week is going to be the week of Christmas, Christmas, and then the one after that is going to be right before New Year's, man. So wow, we've got a lot of stuff. Hopefully we'll be here for all of them. I don't know about the New Year's one. We might be busy. We will see. I don't know, but. You can always email us, like and subscribe on our Facebook or YouTube, just at the Drive-In Speakerbox. We are on Instagram. You can do that too, and download us wherever you download MP3s and share it with your friends. Do it. Just do it. That's our Christmas gift. Ask. We want it. We're gonna ask Santa for more likes. So I'm always the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
We'll see you next week.
over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with a
Download us wherever you download MP3s and share it on with your friends. Do it. Just do it. That's our Christmas gift. Ask. We want it. We're going to ask Santa for more likes. So I'm always the we're going to see another one of those. A $59 million opening is no small chunk of change, and especially when you had a $125 million budget. It is probably going to see that through unless Skywalker, Rise of, Star Wars, whatever, bumps it down. But I have a feeling that Cats is going to be no